Warning, the following podcast show that you're about to listen to will include explicit language and content in which you, the members of the audience, may find offensive. Audience discretion is advised.
Welcome to another episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience.
Yeah, boy.
Where anything and everything is a subject matter on the show, and no subject matter is ever taboo.
Damn, that's what's up with you.
And now, your host with the most, Mr. Kim Hoang. Bro, am I getting paid for this?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How in the world are you? This is your boy, Kim Hoang, the Asian sensation, and welcome to another edition of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. I am your host with the most, the man with the plan, the guy that can bring the power within the hour, and the dude with the right attitude. And we're coming at you all the way from the man cave. That's right. In the Washington, D.C. area. It's a private area that I like to go to just to kind of escape and get away from it all. And sometimes if I have my equipment, do another episode for you guys. You know, like I'm doing right now, because you guys are definitely worth it. We appreciate it. We think that you guys are really incredible. And the fact that you guys show us a lot of love, a lot of support for the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, I cannot thank you enough for that. You know, please keep on supporting. Please keep on, endorsing our show. Please keep on spreading the word about us, whether if it's on, in real life, person to person, or on social media. We definitely appreciate that. Right now, I hate to be a little bit sappy, but sometimes, it's part of the emotion that you can't help but to put it out there. And I mean it in a good way. I'm not meaning it by any negative connotation or negative meaning. I'm being a little bit sappy right now at this moment, and I'll explain why. Lately, the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience has been blessed as of late, as we actually have acquired an upgrade to our equipment, which is helping us with the recordings and the masterings of every episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience going forward. And, this is a real cool story. Right now, as we speak, we have, which is new to us, but technically it's old, a new Apple Mac Mini. That's a 2018, which is a huge upgrade, and I'll explain why. For the past 5 seasons, when this all started up until this point, every episode that we have mastered and edited came from our workhorse computer, which is the MacBook Pro 2012. Now, don't get me wrong. I love this MacBook for a lot of reasons. Obviously, because, the portability, you can, that's what laptops are made for. I like the fact that, it's very dependable. I never got a virus on it. And maybe it's just, I'm a little bit late to the game. But, having a webcam on a computer, especially like a laptop, like a MacBook Pro, it makes things a lot easier sometimes for communication. Because sometimes people don't have iPhones. So it's really hard to do, FaceTime. Or people are not technologically inclined. You know what I mean? So they don't want to use WhatsApp. And and that's fine. That's their choice. But something about like the old school, going to a laptop, having a video conferencing and just, keeping in touch that way is cool. But that's besides the point. For 5 years, we've been using this MacBook Pro, and it's been incredible, and it's served us well. it's no secret that there's a program in every Apple computer, albeit, an iMac, a MacBook Pro, maybe a Mac. Or I think it's just called Mac Pro, I think, which is the bigger and more powerful computer compared to the iMac and the Mac Minis. They all have this one particular program that we use called GarageBand, and it's incredible. And it's been going really great for the past 5 years, but with time, my computer, the MacBook Pro, got slower and slower, and that's just the name of the game. You have technology that, let's say, is 2012, and we're now at 2026. So this thing has been holding on very strong for about 14 years, and it's been a workhorse. It's really been a cool workhorse. I really haven't used the MacBook to that capacity until like 5 years ago to do something that was totally of a wild concept that became a reality. And I noticed every year with my MacBook Pro, it just kept on getting slower, and it kept on getting slower, and it kept on getting slower. Booting it up and powering it up took a lot longer than it used to. Loading up a lot of programs took a lot longer than it used to. So I had to go ahead and reevaluate. And, there was some shortcuts, that I took that were pretty good. I mean, it was temporary, but it was pretty good. And, I just came to a point where, I'm going to need to get, another MacBook Pro at some point. And we're still going to have that. We're still keeping our eyes on that particular goal for sure. But, we needed to have something that was, we needed to have something for the now. And we needed to have something. So I actually reached out to a couple people, but one person in particular that I reached out to was a work colleague of mine from my day job, Mr. Rob Wilson. Really cool guy, a guy that, his background is very similar to mine, where, he was in the theater, and I think he did a little bit of, acting way back in the day. I don't think he did any local film work or he did TV or anything like that, but he did some stuff in theater and so forth, and did the acting stuff there, and I think that was pretty cool. At any route, I reached out to Rob, and I said, "Hey, Rob, I need to have a new MacBook Pro or a used one. Do you think that you know anybody in particular that might be selling it or giving it up?" Because, Rob is definitely a good person that has a lot of resources and a lot of information. I definitely call him the guy that has a lot of pull, you know what I mean? Like the Godfather. And, he actually reached out and said, "Hey, my son has a Mac Mini, and, we're willing to go ahead and part it for a set price." And when I heard the terms of, the offer, it was too good to pass up. It really was. And I'll explain it in these terms. Anytime that you get a brand new, Apple computer product, again, the MacBook, the MacBook Pro, the MacBook Air, iMac, the Mac Pro, the Mac Mini, or whatever, you're going to pay a pretty penny. Apple, although it's a very good company and their products are damn near bulletproof. It really is. I mean, it's definitely quality stuff that will withstand the test of time. It definitely costs a pretty penny or two. So that's why, afterwards, thinking about it, I thought, maybe I'll go used, and I'll go ahead to, Facebook supermarket and see if there's something in the area that, fits my needs. And when Rob actually made that offer and dropped in the X amount, it was too good to pass up, man. So, we had to act on it, and we had to act on it fast. Now, mind you, the Mac Mini that we have is a very incredible. 32 gigabytes of RAM, which means that you'll be able to open a lot of programs faster, and, it'll be able to load things faster. And I saw that. But the only drawback was that it only had about 100 gigabytes. But with my external hard drive that I have from our, MacBook Pro, I just plug that in and I have 1 terabyte. So in that sense, we're good. And I think we're going to be okay. I just have to remind myself, look, we better not save anything on the Mac Mini if we can't help it. If it's something where we need to upgrade the OS or, a program or something like that, and it takes more space, fine. But we're not going to save any documents or images or stuff like that. That's what flash drives and external hard drives are for. And, Rob really helped us out. He pulled us out of the trenches, and, that's love right there. So I gotta say thank you very much to Rob Wilson for his offer and generosity. We definitely appreciate it. I'm a big fan of the Apple computer, so if somebody's going to offer me an Apple computer for a very good bargain, and I mean a very good bargain, I gotta act on it. And it's going to be incredible, and it's lovely, and it's already lovely. I can't wait. I pretty much have everything all set up. The only thing that I need is an Apple Magic Keyboard. And I don't need the top of the line one with a Touch ID. Although, to be fair, that would be pretty cool, because at least it's, the most current and active keyboard on the Apple market. But I just need something just to keep me, rolling, keep everything good. I already have a Magic Mouse that I use from my MacBook Pro, and it's incredible and it's lovely. So now we go to the part of what are we going to do with the MacBook Pro? Well, it is going to be retired. It's definitely going to be retired. There's nothing more that we can say or do about it other than the fact that it has served its purpose. Will I still keep it? I might, just for emergency purposes, or the fact that, let's say if I'm traveling, then I'm going to need to have a use for it. Because then I'll just have to go ahead and, do this, do that, and try to do some editing and so forth. So sometimes that might be the case, I don't know if I'm really ready to part with it yet, but if and when I do, I know I will. And whatever happens afterwards, whoever gets it after that, all I have to say is good luck. Do whatever you want. Some people actually had told me, well, even though this thing is old, you could go ahead and do the nerdy thing and try to put in another type of OS called Linux or Linux or something like that. And, you can run it that way and it can make things slightly quicker, which is all good, all good and, good and fun, but, I'm not really technologically sound like that. I don't know how to do that type of stuff. Maybe I know how to, install Microsoft Office or, do this or do that, or I know how to do certain settings or just cruise on the internet. But, when it comes to that type of stuff, like uploading a Linux or a Linux and doing this and breaking codes and everything like that, nah, man, that's not my shtick. So, yeah, but until then, we're happy. I'm happy. The podcast has now got a great upgrade, an excellent upgrade that we're going to be implementing as we even speak. We're going to implement it shortly thereafter. And again, a big shout out to Rob Wilson. Thank you, sir, for everything and your generosity. Thank you for your continuous support of, not only me as a person, but just my, creative avenues and creative mediums. I definitely appreciate it. You are the man. And I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means a lot. Definitely means a lot. We're going to take a little bit of a break. When we come back, we're going to go with another segment of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. And once we're done with that, then we're going to go to our greatest, part of the podcast ever, the greatest segment, the Q&A form. Question and answer. You want to stick around for that. So guys, do what you need to do. Take 5, but come back. And come back quick. Because the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, the heat is rising, and we're just getting started.
I want to tell you about an amazing store that's really good for all musicians, music enthusiasts, and a whole lot more, which is Chuck Levin's Washington Music Center in Wheaton, Maryland. That's right, you heard it correctly. Since 1958, Chuck Levin's has been actually tearing up the game when it comes to the music scene. And guess what? Since 1958, they have been the store to go to and a must-visit destination for any serious musician passing through our nation's capital. So, if you're actually a person that's in a band looking for a new instrument, such as an electric guitar, an acoustic guitar, a bass guitar, or maybe some drums, if you're a DJ looking for like the greatest DJ equipment, such as turntables and so forth, they got you. Hey, are you actually in an orchestra playing a woodwind instrument, brass instrument, or strings? They got you. They got all the classical instruments that you need. And let's not forget, for all my fellow podcasters, need a microphone? They got you. Need a podcasting vocal track recorder? They got you. They got everything, man. And I'm telling you, it's the best place to go. So if you want to check them out, go ahead and do so, because right here at Chuck Levin's, they're the best. Forget the rest. Mess with the best. Located over at 11151 Veers Mill Road in Wheaton, Maryland. They're open Monday through Saturdays, 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. If you want to know more about what they have to offer, you can go over to chucklevins.com online or give them a buzz at area code 301-946-8808. Chuck Levin's Washington Music Center. Like I said before, don't worry about the rest. Mess with the best.
And now, back to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience with your host, Kim Hoang.
I'm a person that's a very positive, jovial type of guy. But when I hear about something that's, bad news and unfortunate, I do have to bring it out to the limelight. Now, I know people probably say, wow, there goes Kim being a negative Norman and stuff like that. No, it's not me being negative. It's just something about me putting it out in the limelight, in the front light. As we speak of right now, this literally reached top news, like literally all around, every major news network in the country, and it shocks me to even say it, but by the age of 48 years old, actor James Van Der Beek has passed away. I have an official statement from NBCnews.com, and I'm going to go ahead and read this out there to you guys, so you know that this is actually real. I'm not making this stuff up, but yeah, here it goes. James Van Der Beek, the actor of the endeared, let me read that one more time. James Van Der Beek, the actor who endeared himself to a generation of television viewers as the star of the teen melodrama Dawson's Creek, has died Wednesday. He was 48 years old. He was met he met his final days with courage, faith, and grace. Kimberly Van Der Beek, his wife, said on Instagram. There is much to share regarding his wishes, love for humanity, and the sacredness of time. Those days will come. For now, we ask for peaceful privacy as we grieve our loving husband, father, son, brother, and friend, she added. In early November 2024, James Van Der Beek announced that he had been diagnosed with stage 3 colorectal cancer. I've been dealing with this privately until now, getting treatment and dialing in my overall health with greater focus than ever before, Van Der Beek said in a November 3rd, 2024 post on Instagram. Please know that my family and I deeply appreciate all the love and support. This really hit hard. Because, obviously as I was growing up, I was a huge fan of Dawson's Creek. And James Van Der Beek playing the role of Dawson Leary was I think that was a great role for him. And I think that character was a character that a lot of people just kind of connected on all sense of the board. And, he was, that TV show and his character of Dawson on Dawson's Creek was, it was so iconic and so memorable. Something that I felt like it really helped and built his acting career. I do remember that before Dawson's Creek, he was in a movie called Angus. And I think that he played the main antagonist bully that was bullying Angus and his buddy. You know what I mean? So I thought that, watching that movie and seeing him act there for the first time, I was like, wow, this dude's got a lot of potential. I mean, a lot of great acting potential. And of course, when Dawson's Creek came on the WB TV network, that show hit like wildfire. Everybody loved it. All the guys, all the girls, because the guys loved Katie Holmes. You know what I mean? She was definitely somebody that we all loved, and Michelle Williams. And then all the girls, they loved James Van Der Beek and Joshua Jackson. You know what I mean? Joshua Jackson playing the role of Pacey. Katie Holmes playing Joey. I think that was her name, Joey. And I forgot the role that Michelle Williams played, but she was the other love interest of Dawson, and her character moved out from New York City, moved over to Cape Side, and it was really, really cool. And of course, what person of my generation doesn't remember James Van Der Beek from the iconic movie Varsity Blues? All about John Moxon, who was like a backup quarterback for a high school team, who never really got an opportunity to play until Lance Arbor, you know what I mean, who actually was played by Paul Walker, the late Paul Walker, finally got, he got injured, and then all of a sudden John Moxon got his chance to play football and actually did really well, and helped his team win I believe the regional championship or something like that. So that was really, really cool. I really thought that, going forward with that movie and with that particular role, that, maybe James Van Der Beek has potential to be in other movie roles, because, he played such a great role of John Moxon and did it so well and so convincingly. The way that he acted, the way that, he gave a lot of his personal personality into the character. Wow, that was very, really awesome. It was really, really cool. And to even talk about it now, unfortunately, of him, no longer being with us, It is insane. It is really insane. Yeah, and as I'm looking right now, he's actually been in a lot of TV and a lot of movie roles. Things like he was in Clarissa Explains It All, As the World Turns, Dawson's Creek, Ugly Betty, How I Met Your Mother, One Tree Hill, The Forgotten, such other projects. Again, Angus, Varsity Blues, Scary Movie, Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, The Rules of Attraction, so many, great movies and roles that he did, and now he's gone. Wow. And excuse me for saying this and being a little bit emotional, but it does kind of get to me. And the reason why I say it is because James Van Der Beek passed away young. You know what I mean? I mean, the dude was 48 years old. Like, literally, like, that is the same age as I am right now. It just makes me feel, really sad, and very scared about life. And the fact that, James Van Der Beek, lived life to the fullest. He was one of those actors that, you never saw him in like the tabloids for doing something wrong or getting himself in a situation that was a major expose. I mean, he pretty much was an actor's actor. An actor's actor. Being professional, just being on the set, working hard. I believe that, James Van Der Beek had 6 children. He had 6 children. And, he was just a man that was all about, his marriage, his children, doing all that he could. And this is where we're at right now. If this actually, teaches us anything in life, number one, when it comes to the medical sense, always get yourself checked out. Obviously, colorectal cancer is nothing to sneeze at, or any type of cancer, for that matter, is nothing to sneeze at. Always do what you can to check about your health, and you make sure that you have longevity and that you're doing things the right way. It also teaches us that life is short, and that, there may not be a tomorrow, so you have to live for the now. And all the things that you wanted to do in life, if you never got a chance to pursue it, now's the time to do it. If you wanted to be that actor, now's the time to do it. If you wanted to be that musician, now's the time to do it. If you wanted to be a famous artist or a famous chef, or a famous photographer, tattoo artist, anything that deals with, any type of creativity, or just if you wanted to do something in general that wasn't even creative, like if you wanted to be an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer, or if you wanted to be a businessman, or you wanted to be, somebody that was an entrepreneur, now's the time to do it. Now is the time to go ahead and say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to make things happen. I'm going to go ahead and call my shot, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. That's why we have to live for today and live for now, because tomorrow, we may not get it tomorrow. Tomorrow is never given to us, we're never granted those type of things. We have to earn, that type of thing in life. And if we can earn it, and if we can get it, and we can do what we can do, God bless it. It's awesome, But just live for the now, man. Shoot for the, like I said in the previous episode, you aim for the moon, or shoot for the moon. If you miss, you're still amongst the stars, and the only thing I have to say is, James Van Der Beek, my condolences to your family, to your friends and people that you knew and people that you worked with. It's been reported by a lot of different sources that, you were definitely a heck of a guy, and you were loved, you were well respected, and it's crazy, man. It is crazy. I'm still in shock. Like, I don't know what more I can say. The only thing I can really say is that, in the world of acting for 2026 right now, it's not good. We lost a good one in Catherine O'Hara, the woman who actually played Lydia Deet's mom in Beetlejuice. And then, Beetlejuice. She played the mom of Kevin McAllister in the Home Alone movies. Just to name a few roles that she was in. But man, to lose James Van Der Beek, that one hit hard. That one is definitely going to hit hard. And mainly because of the fact that the guy was literally like close to my age, or was my age, and he was an actor of my generation that I knew, that I identified with through a lot of stuff that he did with his roles in certain projects, whether it be TV and or movie. There definitely will not be another James Van Der Beek, I can tell you that. And the only thing that we can do at this point is just send our love, send our prayers and our condolences to his family. It's terrible. It's really terrible. Wouldn't wish this upon anybody. But, life goes on, and it is what it is. So I have to, end it at that. That said, I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of a break. When we come back, the greatest segment in the world is going to be with us, the Q&A segment. Question and answers. You ask them questions, and I will answer it. And it's going to be amazing. So do what you need to do, but come right back, because the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience will be in full effect, and we're starting to shape things up.
In life, we all want to have great health and excellent physical fitness. However, it's never given, only earned. That said, if you want to go to a gym that will help you to get there, then look no further than Kicked Up Fitness at National Business Parkway in Annapolis Junction, Maryland. Their mission at Kicked Up is to provide the ultimate functioning training facility that focuses solely on your success, with a diverse team that's highly qualified and dedicated to taking your fitness goals to the next level. Kicked Up also offers a variety of group classes and personal training programs that provide something for everyone, regardless of your fitness level. They believe in working hard, achieving results, all while having fun. So come visit their facility in person, which is located at 114 National Business Parkway, Suite 100 in Annapolis Junction, Maryland, 20701. Now, if you see my friend Sean Queen, who's the owner of Kicked Up, tell him that Benny Chow of Miscalculated sent you, and he'll hook you up with a complimentary 7-day pass just to try it out. Need more info? Give him a call. 410-888-9066. Email them at kufitnessnbp@gmail.com or visit them at their website at www.kufitnessnbp.com. Kicked Up Fitness. Never given, only earned.
And now, back to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience with your host, Kim Hoang.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we have reached the end of the line. This is it. The moment that you've all been waiting for, and I've been pretty excited about it. And I hope that you are too. But before we begin, I got to go ahead and read this disclaimer, as always, because, that's what we do. And the disclaimer is that the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience is asking for help on a voluntary basis to anyone out there that would like to help our podcast show by the ways of sponsorship and or financially donating to the podcast show to help make the quality of our podcast better. All proceeds that we raise will go towards getting more equipment and better equipment that we need, such as, microphones for our in-studio guests, XLR cables for those microphones, headphones for in-studio guests, and even, believe it or not, even though that we now have a Mac Mini, a MacBook Pro. Whatever that you can donate will help, no matter what the amount is. So insert joke if you want to donate $5 million, which I don't think anyone out there in the world would do that, but you never know. We would appreciate that. Hell, we would make you an executive producer. So even as little as $5, every little bit helps, and we would appreciate your help. You can make a financial donation through the apps or web pages, depending on which, is available. Number one, you can make a donation through PayPal and or Venmo. I know PayPal has a website, www.paypal.com. Make a donation to our screen name, which is, or our tag name, at KimHoangMDActor. That's once again at KimHoangMDActor, or on CashApp under the tag name $KimHoangMDActor. Once again, that's the $KimHoangMDActor. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment of truth. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our Q&A forum. That is right. You ask them questions, and guess what? We will answer it, or in this case, I will answer it, and I will do my very best. Normally we have 7, but today, again, as always, I'm feeling generous. We're going to go ahead and answer some bonus questions. I do have 3 bonus questions, so in a grand total, we will answer 10 questions. I'm ready to get started, so let's hit it. So I got my questions right over here. And here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Question number 1. Kim, how important is the relationship between student and instructor in the martial arts? Alicia from Peggy's Cove, Nova Scotia, Canada. Number 1, I never knew that there was a town called Peggy's Cove, but then what do I know? But that's pretty rad. You know what I mean? You learn something new every day, especially in the world of geography when it comes to the podcasting world. And Alicia, I really think that to answer your question, the student/instructor relationship in the martial arts is very important and very sacred. Because to the student, the instructor is, kind of their role model. The instructor is kind of like a person that is a real big, important person in their life, like a lifelong mentor, and they basically admire that person. They admire the instructor, and they have so much respect because, not to make it very dramatic, but it's like, when you look at your instructor, they're kind of like God. Like they're the almighty and so forth, which is, again, I've said this before outside of this question to many people that it's very, flattering and complimentary. But, we just wanted, as the instructors, want to make sure that our students are on the right path and that they're doing the right things. They're entering, they're training with a positive attitude. Never negative, because we feel like if you guide them in the right direction and if you actually have them in the right mindset, then they in turn will be more motivated to get the job done and to get the mission accomplished, no matter what it is. And because they're feeding off each other, it's kind of like, that ultimate yin-yang balance. And it's like any other relationship. You work hard, you earn the trust. You believe in them, they believe in you. And that's the way that it should be. It shouldn't be no negative behaviors or attitudes or anything of that sort, because the moment that you actually do that, then in this perspective of the student, if the instructor does that to them, they have no problems in leaving, because it's very toxic. So it's very important, very sacred. Question number 2, Kim, what is it about the tattoos do you like on yourself? DeAndre from Lodi, California. DeAndre, I'll just say it like this. I can only speak for myself. So I can't really answer for anybody else that has tattoos. But when I started getting tattooed, I did it for a lot of reasons. But I think the main reason, as I actually got more established as a collector, is that each tattoo represents a big story in my life, and just something that I really want to have on me forever. Because I'm very superstitious like that. When it comes to something like my Chinese food dog, it's the protector. It's a protector from all things that are negative and evil. And it's a guardian to keep that type of negative force out of my life. There's a tattoo that I have on my left collarbone that are coordinates of the city of Annapolis, which explains the story of where it all began. That's the city of my birth, and it holds a very special place in me, like forever. And then just on my ribs, I have a tribute piece for my late friend Jonathan Henderson, who passed away back in 2018. He always was a big fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Leonardo was his favorite turtle. So we decided to do something really fun, and do like a samurai Leonardo. And I wanted to do something like that in honor of Jonathan, and I thought that would be like a real cool thing to do. So, that's what I like about, the tattoos that I have. I mean, I'm not going to name every tattoo that I got, but it definitely has a special place in my heart and tells an autobiographical story. So that's what I like about it. Question number 3, Kim, lately I've been seeing Apple iPhones, and that they've been having weird color designs and color schemes like orange, teal, ultramarine, pink, and things of that nature. What are your thoughts about it? Francine from Richmond, Virginia. Francine, I don't really mind, to be honest with you, because although having just like, colors like black and white, that's cool because it's very neutral. We live in a world where there's, a lot of diversity, and, with a lot of diversity comes a lot of options, and I think also in representation of those colors, Apple's saying, it's not just black and white anymore. There's a lot of, colors all around the rainbow that represent, people in general of different diverse backgrounds, different personalities, and that should be embraced. Would I be caught with an orange iPhone? Not necessarily. I mean, but if I had to get an iPhone and let's say a 2 terabyte, internal memory, and orange was the only one that they had, I mean, beggars can't be choosers. I definitely would choose it. But, then just like something like aquamarine or blue or sky blue or something like that, I'd rock that. Or even purple, because I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan, and Baltimore Ravens fans We bleed that black and purple, baby. All day, every day. Question number 4. Kim, between Vietnamese pho, Japanese ramen, or Chinese noodle soup with either wontons or duck, which one do you prefer? Carlos from Dallas, Texas. Ooh, Carlos, I'm going to kill you because that's a good question. Really good question. And I'll just try to explain it for the listeners out there. Pho is a Vietnamese soup. Normally, it's made of the broth is made of beef bones and certain meats and so forth, and spices and everything like that. And it has like rice noodles with beef or chicken. I know some versions now have like the vegetarian vegan version, so they has vegetable broth with tofu and like a lot of vegetables and so forth, and it's really amazing. Japanese ramen is a Japanese soup that's more based with like I want to say like a kind of like a miso soybean broth with freshly made noodles that they make called ramen, ramen noodles, and they have like a whole bunch of other accoutrements like a soft-boiled egg, fish cakes. Sometimes it has like pork belly or ground pork or something like that. There's a lot that goes on there and a lot of taste and flavor. And then Chinese noodle soup, same application with Chinese egg noodles, with a broth that's normally made with beef or chicken, and with either wontons, which is like a filling of like pork and sometimes scallions in this like little wonton wrapper, or just duck meat from the duck. Now, as far as which one do I prefer, it's really tricky because I like all three of them. I really do. But if you told me, pick one now or else we'll deck you, I would probably pick Vietnamese pho because I was raised on it. And because we have an expression that Vietnamese pho is good for everything and anything. If you celebrate, Vietnamese pho is the way to go. The Vietnamese pho will treat you right. If you're sick for any reason, whether if it's like, you have a cold or you're just, suffering from a broken heart because, if your girlfriend left you or your boyfriend left you, that is the cure-all. Whether if it's actually true or not, or if it's a wise tale, I don't know. But, I've been on this earth for almost 50 years and yeah, Vietnamese pho has not let me down. So, there it is. But I mean, I have all, each one of these offerings has an amazing place in my heart. But, Vietnamese pho, being a Vietnamese American, and because I've had it the longest, number one. Japanese ramen, second place. Chinese noodle soup with either wontons or duck, respectable third. Question number 5. Kim, is it stupid to buy a downloadable game where you only wanted one game from the other 7 games that are included with that game package? Brittany Renee from Kirkland, Washington. Brittany Renee, no. Definitely not. I recently bought a Mega Man collection for the Nintendo Switch. And basically, it came with, like, I think, Mega Man 1 through, I think, 6 or 7 or something like that. And I only wanted the first 2 games. I wanted Mega Man, the first one that started it all, mainly because I never played it. Mega Man 2, that was probably my favorite Mega Man video game of all time. And, I only spent like maybe $14.99 for it. So if you think about it from that perspective, the value, and if I only wanted one game, but I got like 6 or 7 within it, I think it's fair. Because other games, you probably would get like a Mortal Kombat collection game. It's on sale for like, I think $40 or something like that. And if you get one, that's still okay, Most downloadable games that I've seen are more than that, and it's just a single game. So I feel like it's not stupid, because I feel like either way you're getting your money's worth. So that's the way that I see it. So big ups to Kirkland, Washington. Yeehaw. Question number 6. Kim, who do you think will be the big winners at the 2026 Oscars? Connor from Southfield, Michigan. Ooh. Wow. I thought about this actually before this question was ever asked of me, because I was asked this question before. I think about like 2 weeks ago or something. And if we're talking about best international film, I would probably say The Secret Agent from the country of Brazil. If we're talking about best actor, I would say Wagner Moura from that same movie, The Secret Agent. Best actress, Jessie Buckley. I think that she would definitely get that for sure. Best supporting actor, I think Benicio del Toro will win. Best supporting actress, Wunmi Musako. And the best film, of the night, The Secret Agent. That's just what I think. And I only say, The Secret Agent because last year there was a film from Brazil that won for, best international film. It should have won for the best film in general. And the actress that was in that movie, Fernanda Torres, she should have won for best actress. And I felt like, the Academy Award did cheat her a little bit and cheated out Brazil. And I think that they're really knocking at the door. So I feel like, this might be their year that they might take it. Just my opinion. And I hope I'm right. If not, they're still a great movie, still a great country that's making excellent movies that are continuously going into the Oscars, being nominated. Just to have a nomination in itself is pretty rad. But to win it, then you're in another bracket. All right, question number 7, and then we go to the bonus rounds. Kim, knowing that you have been using PCs as per your previous episodes on your podcast, are you admitting that PCs are better? Lena from Medina, Ohio. Lena, I'll say this. I definitely would say that it would make me open-minded, but I never said that, PCs are my number one choice. I do concede the fact that, PCs are good for certain things, like programming and stuff like that. I'll give it that. But Macs are more my speed. Obviously, you can edit movies and filming presentations. You can edit like sound and music and podcasts a little bit better, in my opinion. And the fact that with any Mac system, it's easy to kind of sync it with any of your Apple products, like an iPad, like an iPhone, and transfer stuff over from what you see onto a Apple TV so that a bigger TV screen can be shown, and you can kind of do like a presentation, if you will, of like, what's going on and so forth. So I'm not saying that the PC is better, but I will say that I am more open-minded. So that's that. Bonus time. Let's go for the bonus, ladies and gentlemen. Swish for the 3-pointer. Question number 8. Kim, how do you decide on what restaurants to eat at? Richard from Jacksonville, Florida. Well, I have to be in the mood for a certain type of cuisine. And then when I actually know what type of cuisine I want, I usually go and try to find a listing on Google, like, Italian restaurants near me or something like that. And then they might drop a couple of like, hints and so forth, like, hey, in Bethesda, Maryland, this is definitely worth your shot. Or if you go over to Northwest Washington, D.C., this is the better shot. Or if you go and travel like 1 hour away to Baltimore, this is worth your shot. And then I might ask a few people that I know that do eat around, have they ate there? Do they have any experiences in that place? Or, maybe, ask them what they have heard, if they heard from the grapevine and never really, did any research online. And if all the things kind of match up, then I definitely would go for it. If not, I just have to trust my instincts on, the fact that I picked a restaurant that I'm willing to eat, at, and just enjoy myself, and hopefully that it will be the ending result. And if it does, great, wonderful. If not, I don't ever have to go ahead and eat there again. So, question number 9. Kim, what watches do you prefer? Do you prefer the digital watches or the traditional wind-up timepiece watches? Liz from Catonsville, Maryland. Hometown homegirl. Liz, I would say that, I like both. I really do. I think they're incredible. But if I am picking one right now, I rather prefer my digital watch, my Apple Watch, because that is the go-to. It is a great tool. It measures a lot of my physical measurements in terms of like how many steps and, my heartbeat per minute. It does a lot of that. And I think it's really incredible. Once I actually wake up in the morning, I just take it off the recharger and just wear it for the whole day. And sometimes, I don't have to put it back on the charger after I'm done. If I'm tired and I still want to wear it, then I'll still wear it in my sleep, and that's fine. But normally I would take it off, leave it on the charge, and then when I wake up, I know I can go ahead and grab it, and it'll be at 100% for sure. So, Apple Watch for the win, no doubt about it. And the last question, Christoph from Las Vegas, Nevada. You asked, what are the best colognes out there for men? Or at least, what are the best colognes that you think work for you? Christoph, I do appreciate it, my brother. I do have a list. I have a top 5 list, and then I have honorable mention. We're going to go from 5 to 1. Aiming at number 5, Dr. Squatch's Fireside Bourbon Cologne. You can get that anywhere, like, I've seen it over at Target, but I think that you can get it over at Walmart too. And, of course, it was at number 4, Calvin Klein for, the Eternity for Men from Calvin Klein. Number 3, Sauvage from Dior. 2, anything from the Dolce & Gabbana line. And then number 1, in my opinion, is Acqua di Gio from Giorgio Armani. Any brand or any style of Acqua di Gio is number 1, I think. Honorable mention for me that started it all on my, cologne collection. I used to be a Draca Noir guy, and I still do from time to time, but, Draca Noir was that was the cologne. That was really amazing, and I think it was the one that started it off for a lot of young men. And I think I still have, I still buy it every now and then. I remember that my cousin recently bought me a bottle of it, like the blue bottle rather than the traditional black bottle. And I thought that was, pretty thoughtful. I was like, man, thank you. That was, my guy. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We are done. Another episode is in the books. I'm really happy and excited about it. The fact that we were able to do it is really incredible. And man, I just enjoyed every moment of it. Closing thoughts, as always, you can find us on a lot of social media pages. Go under Facebook and search under the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. Please like and follow it. We are also on Instagram and on Twitter, now known as X. And you can find us under the tag name at TKHPC Experience, all in one word. Lowercase letters. If you follow us, we will follow you back. We are also on 6 podcasting platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, Audible, and iHeartRadio. Please like, follow, and subscribe to our podcast on all of those mentioned platforms. Now, do us a favor. If you have Spotify, please give us a 5-star ranking. And if you have Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star ranking and a positive written review. Because the more times that you actually do that for our podcast through those podcasting platforms, then the more increased chance that our podcast will be thrown in the front of the line. And people will probably start to notice it. And, next thing you know, it might be like, yo, that's the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. My boy George was telling me about this. He said I should like, follow, and subscribe to it. Yes, and yes. Please do. We do appreciate it. Also, share it on your social media. Obviously, the Facebooks, the Instagrams, the Twitter is now known as X. Also, there are other platforms out there such as TikTok and maybe Snapchat. Or just, tell people in person, like your friends, family members, co-workers, and so forth. Because in the business of advertisement, this is brand awareness, and sharing is caring, and we do appreciate that. Last but not least, to be a guest host, or if you want to be a guest on our show, if you want to ask a question on our Q&A form, or if you want to suggest any suggestions, please email us at the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience at gmail.com. Whatever the subject is, put it on the subject box, and in the email, the body of it, just write whatever you need to write. Send it out, and I will take a look at it and respond back within a day or two, because I like that type of communication. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for spending some time with us and kicking it. Please be safe out there, because it doesn't do us any good if you do the wrong things in life and you end up getting buried in a pine box and getting buried 6 feet under, which we don't want that to happen to you. We want you to be healthy. We want you to be happy. We want you to have positive, excellent thoughts in life, because you deserve it. And anybody else tells you otherwise, that you don't deserve it, that you're stupid, or you'll never amount to anything, that you'll be unsuccessful, you can just give them the middle finger and tell them to go kiss off, because you're not trying to listen to the negativity. You're trying to be on the path of the straight and narrow, and you're trying to be focused, and you're trying to absorb positive energy, so thank you. I appreciate it, guys. As always, I always say that this is not my podcast, it's yours. And as long as you want me to keep going and you want me to keep doing the things that I do, I will do it until I can't anymore, like literally and truly. But I love my life. I love my creativity that I do here in the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, and that's it. That's all I got for you. So for the one time in an undisclosed location, the man cave, all that good jazz. This is your boy Kim Hoang, the Asian sensation, the host with the most, the man with the plan, the guy that can bring the power within the hour, and the dude with the right attitude, saying thank you. I appreciate you. We're going to do it again real soon. God bless y'all, and take care. All right? I'm out of here. Peace.